Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Vashti Sarah, and you are tuned in to another episode of All the Things where we literally talk about all the things. So today we're going to talk about the depressing Olympics. Now, I'm not talking about the Olympics, like the Olympics that just went on, just went on. The closing ceremony happened last week. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about, which if I was, I'm sure I would get a ton of hate speech and create so much drama and stir the pot. We're not talking about the Olympics. I'm talking about this culture that thrives on drama. Every Life is America's pro-life diaper and wipes company. My family absolutely loves them. There's no harsh toxins. There's no chemicals. It's perfectly safe for your little one. We love Every Life, their mission, their vision, everything about them. Use my code VASHTI10 for 10% off your first order. That is VASHTI10 for 10% off your first order. Here's the thing. Something that I absolutely despise is walking into a room and the first thing people comment on are, oh, it's so hot outside. Oh, it's so cold outside. Oh, I hate the weather. Oh my gosh, it's raining today. And the list goes on. I'm really not trying to be a drama queen here. You're probably thinking, well, Vashti, you're no different from them. No, it's just there's so much drama all the time. There's always an issue with everything. It's very rare to walk into a room and you ask someone, or they ask you, hey, how are you doing? Or how's life? Oh, it's so hot outside. And to not say that. It's very rare to walk into a room and say, oh, it's great. The weather is, I'm so happy the sun's shining today. I'm so happy that we got a little bit of rain. People don't have that mindset. We immediately harper on the negative, which it's so odd to me because for some individuals, they can never be pleased. It's either too hot, too cold, the rainy weather is depressing, it's too overcast. And I feel like sometimes God is probably sitting on his throne like, oh boy, I really made some miserable creatures. I can't please them. And that's the culture that we have. We have this Olympics with our emotions and our tendencies to comment and just create drama out of every little thing. And if no one's going to say it, I'm going to say it. I'm sick of it. And I think it's about time we just learn to be grateful. We learn to be thankful. We learn to just wake up. And the first thing that comes out of our mouth is gratefulness and thankfulness. I think too often when we wake up, we dread the day, and a lot of that has to do with how we eat, how we sleep, the amount of the type of nutrition that we have, the quality of rest that we're receiving, and that definitely shapes our attitude and our tendency to look towards life. But sometimes it's just a demeanor that we wear. We choose to wear. We choose to wear just that negative personality and that drama-filled personality. And another thing on that is comparing hurts. I listen to people often. I tend to take the route of sitting back and just being quiet and listening. And Jared always compliments me on this. He says I'm a really good listener, and I know how to remain quiet and hear people, but also hear people. A lot of that has to do with my own personality, though. It's not something that it's not something that I've worked towards doing. I've always been quiet, reserved. I'll stay behind the scenes. I'll just listen and I observe. Anyway, something that I observed recently and I think have been circulating quite a bit is comparing hurts. If someone in the room or someone comments, I broke my leg. Yeah, well, I broke my arm last week. And that's very facetious. That's a facetious example. But whatever it may be, we start comparing hurts and, my trauma is bigger than your trauma, or I've experienced trauma too. Some people have not experienced quote unquote trauma, like what the true definition of trauma is, where it psychologically ruins you and you have to go through counseling and therapy to walk through that, and you have scars and bruises and it shapes your thinking and your view of life. Some people actually have not walked through trauma maybe they had a rough upbringing, but it's not necessarily trauma. And I think we glorify in this culture comparing our hurts, comparing trauma, which has affected negatively the Me Too movement, or not the Me Too movement, negatively, it's affected those who are actual victims and have went through trauma. For instance, the Me Too movement. I believe a lot of the reasons why victims don't come out and speak up about their hurts, their pains, what they've been through in the past, or what they're currently going through, is due to the Me Too movement. So many people, oh yeah, I was molested too, or oh yeah, I was raped, or oh yeah, I was hurt, which, don't get me wrong. And I know I'm making some huge claims here, or huge statements here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing the hurt that people have went through, but I do believe there's this victim mentality and this culture that thrives on drama, thrives on having the attention on themselves, that they'll claim certain trauma on them. They'll claim certain things on them when it really wasn't the way they're spinning it, the way they're relaying what had happened to them, the way they're communicating what had happened to them. It really didn't happen the way they say. And even someone who was a victim of a sexual crime, I found it hard to even speak up. Many reasons in the past was due to I didn't think anyone would believe me. I was told that no one would believe me, that I would cause the church to split, that my parents would end up in a divorce, and just a list of lies and toxic, narcissistic things I believed. And that's why I remained silent. And then you also, if you're someone who relates to my story, you read different stories online about women who come out saying that they were molested or sexually harassed or raped or whatever the story may be, and come to find out it wasn't true, it was consensual, or they were making stuff up for money, and then you feel guilty, and it's like, will anyone even believe me? And that's the negative side of the Me Too movement. And just in humans in general, we corrupt a lot of good things. But I think a lot of that stems from, one, insecurities, but two, just this love and infatuation for drama being the center of attention. And it's the depressing Olympics. It is so depressing. And I say all of that in grace to those who have claimed the Depressing Olympics, who are partaking in the Depressing Olympics, that you would seek help, because it is hurtful to see people who are walking in this mindset and walking in this lifestyle. And I have so much compassion for them, because I know it's not, I know there's a deeper rooted issue. And like I said, a lot of it has to do with personal insecurity. So in order to get attention, in order to feel some type of dopamine hit, maybe if I put attention on myself by making people feel compassionate about me, then maybe I'll feel good about myself. But in actuality, you're just doing harm. You're creating stories, and you're becoming a narcissist yourself. But anyways, that also is a part of the Olympics, Depressing Olympics, sorry. So there's this culture thriving on drama. There's comparing hurts. And then there's also, on the flip side, shaming joy. And I'm passionate about this topic because it's as a mom, as a parent, I don't want to see my own child walk this type of personality out. And culture influences how our personality is developed. It influences how we think, our response to certain things. And hopefully as a parent, I can influence my child and children to not partake in this type of culture. But even joy now, we are shaming people who have joy. So for instance, if I walked into a room, and I challenge you to do this, whenever you walk into a room and someone asks you, how are you doing? Before saying, I'm fine, it's just really hot outside. Or I'm fine, I hate that it's raining. Or I'm fine, gosh, my car gave me troubles this morning. Or gave me trouble this morning. Instead of I'm fine followed up by something negative and depressing and starting out your conversation, initiating your conversation with something depressing, I challenge you to choose joy. And you'll get shamed for it. You'll get certain looks for it. You'll probably get a side eye here or there. But I challenge you to respond, obviously, honestly, but I'm good. I'm glad the sun is out today. Boy, I got some really good vitamin D today. The rain is so refreshing. Choose joy. It's a choice. Ultimately, it's a choice. 7 Weeks is America's pro-life coffee. It's premium coffee delivered right to your doorsteps. All roast available, and it's absolutely delicious. Start your morning off with 7 Weeks coffee. It's not just drinking coffee, it's drinking coffee with a purpose. Use my code VASHTY10 for 10% off your first order. That is VASHTY10 for 10% off your first order. I mean, life will have its ups and downs. It will have its hills and valleys. I saw or heard this illustration, and I saw it / heard it, this illustration, that life is like your heartbeat. It goes up and down. That's life. God designed your heart to pump up and down, up and down, up and down. And isn't it interesting that on the heart monitor, it's hills and valleys over and over. And we often desire this life there's no drama. We shame people who have joy. But if there's no drama, no joy, no life, then you're just flatlined. Life is filled with ups and downs. But a lot of us are choosing a lot of us are choosing downs. We're choosing to harper on the downside of life. And again, that's a choice. Not saying that hard things don't happen. Not saying that you won't have hard days. Absolutely. I understand hard days more than anyone right now. I get you'll have hard days. I get you'll have moments that are challenging. But if you harper on the hard days, let me tell you, you will be a miserable person to be around. And then not just that, but the culture that you cultivate around you will be highly depressing. And I would even wager to say people outside that are noticing that negative persona will find it hard to believe you. It'll be the boy that always cries wolf. There's always drama with them. And you don't ever want to be identified as someone like that, especially as females. I think us as females, we tend to gravitate towards drama. We want to hear the latest gossip. We want to hear the latest tea. We want to be in the know. And the safest place to be is outside of the drama, because you get to observe, analyze from afar. You get to learn from other people's mistakes. Outside of the drama, outside of the hurricane, outside of the tornado, rather than the middle. Because the middle might seem calm. It might seem peaceful. But we don't realize in the middle, that tornado is dragging along. Hurricane is dragging along. In the middle, in the eye, might seem super calm. Nothing's happening. I'm just looking at the drama, but I promise you that drama will follow you and you'll end up being a part of it. And golly, our goal as Christians, we shouldn't create drama. We shouldn't be gravitating towards it. We should, one, do our best to avoid it. And when I say avoid, I mean run away from it and don't be a part of it, partake in it at all. Or two, we're a part of the solution. Let's shift as people from being partakers of the depressing Olympics, where everything is doomsday, everything is horrible, life is just up in flames, to authentically living life in joy. At the end of the day, it's a choice. I love one of my favorite verses in the Bible or passage of scripture is James 1. Count it all joy when you go through trials of many kinds, because you will go through trials of many kinds. There will be hills, there will be valleys, there will be high highs and low lows, there will be the in between. But count it all joy when you go through those trials. It's a beautiful thing to go through trials. It is. And you might say, well, Vashti, you can say that because you're not in a trial right now. Oh, I'm in several trials. There are things going on in my personal life. There with family's health that Jared and I are praying and believing for healing for them. That's a trial. When you see loved ones hurting, that's a trial. We're believing for restoration for friends and families. Like when you love people, you care for them, you grieve for them. But at a certain point, you remove yourself and you say, you know what? God can do only what God can do. I'm not going to be a part of drama. I'll be part of the solution. So that's my little encouragement to you, which probably is counter to what I was saying because I presented as drama, I guess. But it's just odd to me how the world has shifted, or maybe it's always been the same because there's nothing new under the sun. But we've been partaking in this depressing Olympics. And we thrive in it. We want to be a part of it. I mean, all our reels, or most reels these days they're pretty comical. But it's thrived on drama, the latest gossip, politics. Like it's just, and I'm not saying to live in this fairy tale life. But gosh, as Christians, we should be different. We should be talking differently. We should wear a different posture, shouldn't we? At least that's just what I think. And it's not just a thought. I believe that's biblical. Yeah, you're realistic, but you're also authentically living in joy. It's a choice. Well, that's all I have for y'all today, and I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. I will see y'all in the next one. Like, share, comment, do all the things, and I'll see y'all next time.